Hello and welcome back, one and all. And with this victory, JL are keeping their playoffs dreams alive and kicking. And TU fans and the entire team we keep on seeing on our screens are now at the edge of their seats because it will all come down to the very last map of the series. And Kakuka, Haza, we wouldn't want it any other way. What an exciting group stage.
I mean, it's the way that we've been doing it, right?
Exactly.
It's Ascension. We have to go 3 maps, Haza.
And it's the fate in their own hands now as well. Like, if we're going to get back-to-back French winners, they got to show up where it counts, right? That's exactly
We're never
going to
hear the end of it if that
I
happens.
know.
Right? We're never
But look,
hear the
if we
end of
do, they only have 1 French player, so does it really count?
It does count. I'll claim him as almost as a Swiss. I'm always root for the French team because there's no Swiss teams and they're our neighbors. So you know, allez le bleu. And either way, though, they still have 1 map to go, and we have to break down the action here first because, quite frankly, looking at Bind, it was JL's map pick, of course. They went once again with that triple initiator comp, which they lost with just a few days ago on this very map. Kakuka, how did they turn around this time? What did they change in their approach?
I mean, I was a little bit scared at the beginning of the first half because, you know, you have MOUZ with the momentum of closing their map pick and just going into this one with a different composition. But then later in the half, we see plays like this one, understanding how to play against the composition, how to play with their opponent's mind. You see MOUZ running around in the spawn, trying to get to the right side. And even though Sus gets the first kill here, the spike goes down and Joblife drops their utility at them, trying to isolate and trying to move them around the map to exactly where they want to phase them. It took them a little while to warm up into this half because of how the Clove was going on, how Sus was playing with the operator. But in the end, I think that they got a very, very good read on how to get the rounds on the board. And then on the second half, MOUZ only won 1 round, and he was an eco that went completely insane. But you can tell how Joblife was extremely comfortable in this bind. They just needed a little bit of a warm-up because of the playing against the Clove and the precisions that they were playing.
Yeah, like Kakuka said as well, I think you saw some of the value of the pick on defense, but it didn't really feel like there was that much development any further than that. Like, you have some really tight chokes. It stapled into B long, where you usually have your Brim player most likely, but then the trade-off for that agent, or even a Viper, for example, I don't think they really found the value from the Clove that they would have been looking for, and I don't really know if it was worth it, in my opinion.
Maybe they once again also banked on those individual pop-up moments. But Haza, Joblife, I mean, they've shown us those kind of pop-up moments. They showed us how very aggressive they are over the last couple of days in all of their matches, really. And yet, it seemed to have caught MOUZ off guard.
And it really shouldn't have, because this is from minute 1. It's the info flash that comes out. MOUZ, a team fault, but they go straight into this proactivity on what is the bonus round. And MOUZ is just so blindsided by it. 3 kills picked up, click of a finger, and the round is effectively done from this point. You have the upgrades, you have the positioning, but they were doing this all the time. They did this, you know, in showers, on their pistol rounds, you see them do it. You see them do it towards B long, which I highlighted before the game began as well. And versus ultimates, there were ways where it kind of went wrong, to be honest, but this time, it is a bit do or die. They live by the sword, die by the sword. They made it work.
I think it sets the tone. If you're able to convert that round after a 6-6 half, if you want to take this into a map 3, if you want to keep a snowball in it, this kind of aggression where they feel comfortable is what they can succeed the most, because also you condition your opponent to also be always extra aware of these things being happening and them having to be more cautious of closing the map.
Yeah, well, we're now headed to our last and final map in this series. I mean, obviously not that much pressure from MOUZ because they're at this point not playing for themselves. Obviously, you want to have a good last showing, put yourself on the radar for the big teams out there as well to potentially be picked up. I'm not saying they should break up the team. That's definitely not the drama I'm trying to start here. I'm just putting it out there, you know. Many a player have used these kind of platforms to put yourself on the map. Heading into Haven, though, if we're looking at the recent stats and we're just looking at the group stage so far, MOUZ has lost their 1 match on Haven. We have 2 victories for Joblife here, playing that Astra comp to great success. Where do you see this one go, Kakuka?
Ooh, my heart is divided right now because yes, I've been enjoying the ultimates, and I really want MOUZ to get at least one win under the belts and feeling good about this. But I think I have to give the edge to JobLive. Like, in the grand scheme of things, especially on this last map, I see them being extremely confident about it.
Yeah, with this one, for me, it's a bit weird. I kind of want to tell MOUZ to play not like MOUZ, but that's not what we're going to get. Do you know what I mean? They play very safe at times, kind of readable. I've been saying it all tournament. But something I do want to highlight a little bit is how they approach the B site from the defender's side. You see them, you know, double, triple up there sometimes in terms of, you know, Fizzy on Cypher is putting both of his traps on B site in some rounds just to hold on to that space. JobLive got to be really careful that they don't walk into that stack, because it's something that they do and it can be difficult to play around. But if you know it, then you know it.
If you know, you know. Yeah, so your advice to MOUZ is just be less themselves.
Yeah, like do you know what I mean? When we saw TU,
be less
when
yourself.
we saw
Honestly,
TU
if you want to
play
win, stop
this.
being you.
When we saw TU play this, they were like pressuring all ends of the map at once, making it difficult. JobLife was sweating, whereas MOUZ, they'll get good lane control from the operator, for example, but they just like to sit. Do you know what I mean? They're quite idle. If you can find those gaps, which JobLife were really decisive at doing before, then that's the issue in my eyes.
I think it also has to do with the momentum, right? The way that JobLife started on that matchup against the Ultimates was like that, like converting the bonus, just getting some rounds under their belts. They managed to get the win only in OT, but I think it says a lot about the way that they were adapting on the map and finding the weaknesses. I think that they've done a great job in reading what their opponents wanted to do on Bind, and if they're able to translate that, that's why I see them winning this matchup.
So if we're looking at the compositions here, what do you want to see from MOUZ? Because that Clove certainly like played into their more defensive play style and didn't translate on their attacking side either. What do you want them to bust out on Haven to make it work, to fit into your narrative of more aggression?
I'd like copy what TU did, I guess. I don't know, bring out like the Neon, something along those lines. You know that Zus has a really deep agent pool when it comes to playing as a duelist. He's got like 4 different options. You get Neon, Yoru, Raze, Jet, could be anything. But chances are it's just going to be the default comp with a Cypher instead of the Killjoy.
Well, let's find out. Here is the agent select for both of these teams on the very last map here.
Yeah.
No surprises here.
Yep, same old for both of those teams. JobLive did enjoy those Astra picks. MOUZ staying away from that one. Now, based on these agent selects, I assume it's the approach that needs to be changed here if we're subbing in or listening to Coach Haza. So, sorry, Phil Haza.
No, okay, right, I'll take it. I think just post plants as well, something to mention. If MOUZ do want to play into retakes, JobLife are great at holding onto that utility and using it as a counter when they need to.
And just thinking about Xas, getting the operator on the defense as soon as possible, and then I'm looking at Kamek and Robbie to try and shut him down as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Right, so we're ready. The teams are ready. One last time, let's send it over to Cairo and Steel.
Thank you very much, Desk. I am loving the analysis, and I'm loving Haz's ninja cosplay. But more importantly, we are going into the third map of Haven. This is a lot on the line, and it's a map that has a lot of momentum in it, and a lot of ebbing and flowing.
There is a lot of ebb and flow on this map. Yeah, Haven, you got 3 sites, you've got a lot of action, and I want to see MOUZ getting a little bit loose. I think the Desk was kind of alluding to it a little bit in terms of not playing kind of stale. I mean, what do you have to lose, right? Go and have some fun and make it loose, get in their faces a little bit, because when you were in control of that Lotus game, you guys looked good, but then you go into Bind and you kind of let that slip. You go a little bit slow, you go into the JL's really heavily defended sites, just the 4-stack B one round, the 4-stack A one round, you're going straight into it. Get a little bit loose, get a little bit, you know, get those fakes going again, get a little bit aggressive on your defense side, get that up going, you know, get it all.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I totally agree with you. I think, like, if they are going to play slow, the key thing for me is they need to stop the mid-round and let JobLife do, because when they have a good read on what you want to do, then it's almost like just putting the pieces into the picture, right, and finishing it off. For me, coming into this last map, a lot of pressure on JobLife and little to none on MOUZ. They can send it forward. They're playing for their own pride and playing for remember, folks, to you who are sitting in the Riot Games arena watching this game right now.
They're in the arena, they're watching on the TV, and they're getting excited for every win that MOUZ gets. But last map was JL winning most of the time, so see if they can put an end to that again here. A fast opening towards A, and Astra taking that site. It's a full retake, but already with the breach, the Sova, everyone in place. Could be a free take.
It could be, and well, Zus is certainly going to try his best efforts at it. The players were in through the smoke, and they've already got the kills coming out of nowhere. Wow! Fantastic stuff. It's as simple as that. And the pistol round, they get Haven started off right.
Hey, I know I said get loose, but that was maybe a little bit too loose there. MOUZ, they fall on the pistol. It was a fast opening by JL, and getting into that site was easy peasy. There was nothing to defend. MOUZ instantly tried to go for that retake, sending in the stun, the flashes, aftershock, dart, everything. But getting in their faces, Kamek just at the back of the site behind the default box, getting in the faces with the rest of his teammates, you know, shoulder to shoulder. They disrupted the retake, didn't let MOUZ have any space.
I feel as if we've seen two faces to Job Life on this map. When we saw them play against Saw in their first series, it was blistering. They did not miss a shot. They feel as if they felt as if like they couldn't be stopped, right? I think that ended up in a 13-1, 13-2 map. Whereas you go up against the Ultimates, Job Life, they never got it working in their favour. It just never seemed to get going, the momentum rolling. And as we said before, like it's Haven, right? They'll get it going. That's the most important part.
It is the most important part. Sorry, I was distracted by Zus being Zussy in the camera there during this tech pause. Oh man. Okay. Sorry. Refocus, resettle. That's exactly what the teams need to be doing in these situations as well. It was a big explosive pistol round, and it could have gone either way. JL coming on top of that, Kamek in the back of the site, and you know, losing pistol rounds is not the biggest deal. We've seen it happen earlier in the series where instantly getting ecoed or getting 4-spot on the second round, it can go either way. It's not really deciding anything at this point. But I do look at this composition here from the side of MOUZ. We don't really get to see this that often. There's a few things in play here that we don't get to see too often. We're seeing, we see Neon regularly these days, but we're seeing a lot of the mixture with Yoru, ISO in play. We're seeing Yoru in general as a solo duelist. We're not seeing a whole lot of a Jet. We're not seeing the Astra in play. That's really new because a lot of teams, they're running with the Yoru or with the ISO. They don't get the verticality. They utilize that Omen for some of that verticality. So a lot of interesting pieces coming out here compared to what we see traditionally in some of the VCT teams.
Yeah.
But
yeah, 100% agree. Like different variations, bringing forth their own style. Just to give you guys an update on what's going on behind the scenes, we have had Yaz have a little bit of a peripheral issues, so he's restarting his PC, and we should be quickly back into our game in the next 10 to 15 seconds. But still coming into this, like if you were to like look at all the compositions that we've seen developed, we've got double wall, or we've had double walls. We've now got the Fnatic comp. We've seen Job Life's variation. Is there anything that you particularly prefer? Just the plain old vanilla comp, perhaps?
No, not the plain old vanilla comp. There's a few different directions I go. I like the Fnatic comp, which is the ISO and Yoru double duelist comp, because with this map being 3 sites and so many lanes to use and so many setups with breaches creating these traps, it's very easy for the Yoru to go around and disarm those traps, and then having that second duelist in the form of ISO being able to steal space down middle or take those fights at sewers or long A, as well as some of these C fights with the Yoru ultimate, with the Sova ultimate. Getting these combos are really nice to play with. But I also am a simp for these double controller compositions, the Viper with the Omen. It's really nice to see those types of plays where you cut off the map, you slice and dice it, you move around by blocking off some of the sight lines. You can put it up towards A and you can continuously deny that info. You can slice up C site and make it easy to walk up. Only one position can cover you. And then same thing with B, getting those post plants as well, really strong.
Go, go, go!
Player who's been strong in his own right has been Yaz, and as he's back into the server, he's straight back into the A site as he was previously. Cutting down that space, but he is all on his own. That's going to be an easy first kill. No, it's going to happen once more. Another anti-eco being converted by the lesser by. Zush now all on his sheriff. Players close by. I mean, it's up to Stark. He's on the flank. Taking his time to come back in. The last two remaining players have not got an idea as to where he could be. They'll quickly double peek in towards shot. That first right click, if he'd got the second off, things are looking dangerous.
Those classics, you can never count them out. When I look at classics, it's like a full classic eco. It's always the map split that just anything can happen on. But if there isn't any other map, I feel like Haven could be up there. You got enough tight chokes, you got enough boxes to play around on the site.
Yeah,
it's always a scary prospect.
This is by
Vandal's
far
coming out.
Yeah, Vandal's coming out. I was going to just about to say this is by far my favourite map in the whole pool. Like, if it's introduced, it's usually my favourite, and Zus making use of his second favourite weapon, the Vandal. Not being quite introduced just yet, not having the economy to get it. And as Hazza had noted before, the B site, where things usually tend to happen for MOUZ, where they put a lot of these players in job life, trying to poke and prod into the Lion's Den, and they've traded even here.
Sneak up into that A site, Mikey. It's been pivotal for these guys all series long. Taking the space. Job Life's previous issues was overextending. Once you have the space, be happy with it. But here, overextending again, but coming out on top with the kill. That's a 3-on-2 for this post plant. Drone dart in place, and a bonus round. Surely going to be converted for the side of Job Life this round.
You'd expect that to be the case, especially after Magic got the kill in mid. But they've played in Stark with 18 points of health, and Robbie's Ghost is enough to get rid of him. The thing about the defense here, Steel, is the fact that like sometimes your chances to win rounds can be few and far between.
Absolutely. I mean, the nature of the map means that attack side has a really easy job of being able to move around, set a lot of inserted players around the map, front of B, up garage, and this last round into A sewers, being able to call the team back away from that B site, back into A and close out that round, and Job Life doing a great job of it. And this is one of the things that they excel at. MOUZ needing to close the gap a little bit. We're seeing that be attempted, but unlucky.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. The stinger around the corner. At least there's someone close by for the trade. Obnox, he's hearing all this information and it takes his time and it all goes wrong. A finish on A is where things look to be. A double hold from the back side, and the players know that it's going to be a difficult task. And with Magic close by to get the trade, it certainly will be.
It's a fourth round for Job Life, and now they have Rolling Thunder in play as well. A nice attempt there in that short A position. Zest going down early, doesn't have the angle, but here the drone, I don't even think it clears. In the sewers, the Sova is able to maybe wait it out, but feeling a little bit pressured, and you can tell that some of these moments, sometimes you just let the pressure get to you, and in some situations you would wait, you would confirm that information, you'd be patient, but here, biting on it. Fake,
Yeah.
towards C. It's
Doing
called
it
the
all.
rotation.
The fast lane is enough. I mean, this is almost doing the same job as the Viper Wall, like you were talking about earlier.
It's a 5-ban A walk-up, though. They have that lockdown. They have that Rolling Thunder. One of these is going to be used to take the site, the other for the post plant. But at this point, it might be both just using the post plant. There's nobody on the site.
Oh, just as you speak, the Rolling Thunder gets committed. The spike looking to go down easy enough. Hazza had spoken about how well Job Life use their utility and sometimes get it into post plant. The lockdown now will be the thing to be used. And there's still a flash on Kamek and an intel dart on Robbie when they do come back in. So there's plenty of delay, but MOUZ have their own utility lying in wait. ZUS being one of the players looking to go forward and are still buying time. Do they even want to go for this MOUZ? If they do, it's going to be a tough ask of them. And here they come into the site, but they're still taking their time. This is something that's always been the problem with MOUZ, is taking their time. And as the spike ticks away, they're still not even tapped it. All it takes is one denial probably, although they've been denied getting on the site. Spike diffuser killed, yep, it is calling it quits. MOUZ, heavy investment from JobLife, but they'll get their 5th.
I was thinking for a moment that lockdown was placed very early into the retake or into the post-plant, I guess. And I was thinking, surely there's enough time to wait it out, go in and actually get the retake. And it almost came into play. A random stray bullet, I believe, through the smoke, getting Illuri there was the difference maker. It really came down to the wire when that should have been an easy wrap for JL, but it makes it look so difficult. The retake
Like,
C setup here.
I could feel like the whole round, like the utility was used so early. As you say, retake setup C, and I mean, MOUZ, they don't want anything to do with it. They would rather just play from CT.
Look at this trip though, backside. If Yaz pushes in to go clear back plat, he might run into the trip and get taken out.
I mean, you can see JobLife tentatively moving into the site, and they've cleared out all the utility, but Kamek going one step further. It's not going to work out at all. Yaz, remember, he had the ultimate, and that's going to burn out soon, so he's only working with a bucky. Actually managing to walk all the way up in towards CT. Yes, he's moved into the smoke and trying to take a timing. Magic, who's been so good so far in this map, seems to be coming up with it again. Trying to dance between all the angles and buy some time. An info dart still to come in. The players onto the spike. Robbie's denied it. Knows where another one of these players are, and just sending it forward. Only 8 more bullets. Finally they can get onto the spike, and as you say, no more time and no more chance. That's 6. That's at least half, or even on the half.
That is such a misplay by MOUZ there in a 3-on-1. The smoke from the Omen placed at that top C choke point so that they can flood into the site, but it comes so late. It comes so late that by the time that the team's able to get out and clear the site, there's still so much time left in the smoke that the safe spray through the smoke comes in from Robbie. He picks off that spike diffuser, and then by the time they're able to get back on it, they're running out of time, and instead of just sticking it all the way through and trusting ZUS to get the kill, Stark, he doesn't trust his teammate. He gets off the defuse to try to take him down himself, and they time out by 1.06 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Remember, folks, the stakes in which we are playing in is for MOUZ to win. That means the ultimates go through. JobLife are playing for their own fate in Ascension playoffs. And it's been quite a tussle so far, Steel.
I mean, indeed, it has been. They're really showing what they've got here, though. It seems like they become a different team, a team just reborn on the 3rd map, or maybe it's just a Haven thing for these guys. But right now, they're showing how strong they can be, playing at their highs. We haven't seen it all series long consistently. We've seen flashes of it. We've seen flashes from some of the players. We've seen it from Mikey on some of the clutches, Magic on some of the opening kills, the one taps. But we've seen ZUS's off as well.
That was like the old game Duck Hunt, jumping about. The Cosmic Divide creates a question mark on A long. And in the meantime, Mikey's tried to poke and prod elsewhere. JobLife, I think, is going to be a hard task for them to come back into this round, especially since ZUS has been as dynamic as ever and looking to find more kills.
Clear front middle from MOUZ. Together. They're playing real nice in this round. It's all on Robbie just to make sure he can hang on to this weapon or make it as expensive as possible for the side of MOUZ here. And close in on, though, from every angle.
Yeah, Fizzy's going to be the first one up, and with Robbie not looking the right way, should have been easy. It's a bit horrible, but I think at the same time, folks at home need to remember that MOUZ losing that, MOUZ finally getting the first round, they don't need as many rounds as you would think, right? Like the chances come few and far between. They're trying to get as many rounds as possible, but sometimes you see these comebacks come from like 3 and 4 rounds accumulated on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Valorant, when you have 12 rounds, every weapon's viable, and then ultimates come into play as well. If you're able to consistently get into these tight 2v2 late rounds, 3v3 mid rounds, it can really go either way. And a string of just good positioning, good composure, and sometimes good luck and timing, you can really make things work with nothing. Zus taking that C line for free. It's going to allow his team to stack A. Robbie has that Hunter's Fury ready.
Oh, but it's the Rolling Thunder in. The flashes have been so good at denying anything else. And Robbie BK's Hunter's Fury. That's massive. And there's only 2 players towards A. The recommittal, well, it's been stalled out. It's still got to come through. That's played Fizzy in, getting rid of Magic, the opposite Sentinel. Fizzy's repositioned himself around the cage. Job Life still hesitant to go for anything, and probably assuming that there is going to be one player in the corner, and they've assumed correctly. As for now, it's starting to get more and more scrappy, and it'll continue to do so as MOUZ need to look for something and a wheeze back in this round. Mikey has nothing to stop him moving through B. Those traps are gone, and Alluri at the back of sight has done his best efforts. I think he's been tagged up. He's certainly known about, and that'll be Robbie BK on for an ace.
Spike planted.
Zus left alone in a 1 versus 3. Their economy is still okay to look for an opening here. If JL give it away.
Yeah, there it is. Fantastic from Robbie. Fantastic from Job Life. An ace for the captain. And they take home an advantage for the next half after winning that round.
You could see the spidey senses tingling there a little bit for Zus on that flicker round, looking for Mikey at that A link. The connection between A and B site. Yeah, had he found it there, you know, that's a situation that gets a little bit messy for JL. They got already Robbie going for that ace. That could have been a second opening, and a 1 versus 1 is winnable, but a 7-1 scoreline that is hard to deal with. But Hunter's Fury on the defense, a 3-man A stack, and the breach stun still in play, and an operator still in play. Still doable, absolutely, for the side of MOUZ here.
Plenty to come back in on B as we're Job Life are sent in. Fizzy trying to get the Neuro Theft online. Plenty of bullets flying, but the most important part was getting that spike down. Job Life have got it. They've reset the post plant towards B main.
The slow flank from Stark as well. This fight on Robbie is everything.
Yeah, win it out. Stark immediately trying to paranoia players that are maybe holding in window. Well, there is one, and it was Mikey. Needs to be careful of a timing that's perhaps come his way. Neuro Theft in, Zus comes through, and so has the Hunter's Fury. Mikey's known about, and it's an easy clean-up in the end. MOUZ will double up the rounds, and it's important and imperative that they keep this momentum rolling.
Team Ace.
These rounds are close. This round, a flawless, but the side of MOUZ still 3 more they want to pick up here. Yes, this map is easy to work with on your attack side. You can control the map, manipulate the rotations, pick the lane of least resistance, and figure out exactly how you want to play out some of these post plans. You can insert these lurkers and get a lot of value that way. But still, only 2 rounds here, and it really came down to that flank off. That opening pick onto Robbie, the paranoia to fall into the window, and just the convergence from 3 different angles.
Something that I've noticed that MOUZ are doing is they're using the light shield meta, right? Where they buy up the light shields and try and get their economies bolstered much as possible. Probably means that they will be putting themselves in a position to have a buy for every round to the end of this half. One to keep an eye on, and one to keep an eye on is the corners. Job Life haven't cleared them out whatsoever. Still though, in the meantime, Magic gets caught, and on top of that, Mikey's actually managed to work his way up C. Kamek coming in close. Having to look for one more. Trying to look for
Oh,
Fizzy.
wow.
They do so. That's massive. The retake cam is now offline.
Mikey in the smoke against the shorty.
Last player
Oh,
standing.
massive. Takes his timing perfectly. Have to be
They have spawn
careful.
control.
You do? It's the Alluri clearing through all these angles. Mikey should get an angle on him, or at least see him. They do. The stun coming in, and he dodges it. Both remaining players can just double up, but they're also scared of Garage. You can see that's where they're looking. One star to stop Alluri coming through. He's got 2 flashes to dislodge this. Whether he tries to take his timing, he has only 7 bullets. This has to be extremely clean. First kill is 3 bullets left. Oh my god! Surely not! 7 bullets in a clip. 2 players to find. It had to be clean, and it is. It'll end up with MOUZ being on 3 rounds.
Unbelievable moments. Alluri coming out big and around that his team desperately needed him to. And maybe a misplay from JL there. They had the positioning. That kill in garage window was massive. The camera was taken out before anything else happened. But right in that moment where you get that kill on spawn, that should be an instant plant for spawn and double up, and you can play the round how you want. And then they tap it. They're trying to get the info. Where's the last player? And they plant for spawn, but then they play like this 1-1 on sites separated. They had so many options, and that's what they ended with. And MOUZ exploited that. They take their 3rd round. They have their operators in play. They have a few more people, 4 players with heavy shields this round. They have that buffer of economy. They have only 2 rounds left to play. This is one of them. And the operator isn't here. It's on C.
Stark, he's looked the wrong way. That's allowed the players to get into position. Remember that Rolling Thunder still lies in the pocket of Job Life. If they feel they're in the right position to use it, they certainly will. Onto the site they go, trying to stop any flood retakes coming through. The spam into the smoke. Robbie up close, and Obnox getting the kill on his opposite number. Here comes the Rolling Thunder itself, and the players pushed out of sight. It's still a 3-on-3, and there is rifles that have been collected. Magic probably on the lesser of so, a Bulldog, but he's got things done before with this weapon. Now Fizzy from heaven gets Magic gone. Kamek busting out of the smoke, and now Mike on such low HP. It's his turn to try and clutch on 7 bullets. I can't believe what I'm watching. The man who clutches up time and time again. Job Life, they're trying to build up as big as a gap as possible.
Mikey has been pivotal for these guys in some of these clutches. I just ragged on him on that C, 2 versus 1, but bringing it back when his team needs him most is right here.
One enemy remaining.
Dealing with this 1v2, cutting through these players, and I was in my head ready to set it up about how Job Life kind of misplayed this round. They had so many players close to ultimates. Surely you take Magic into the site, he gets the plant, you use that lockdown in that post plant. But Mikey comes and bails them out. It's no longer the main talking point.
Well, those ultimates can be used in towards this round. That's the main talking point coming in. And there's so many
Look at how
places.
They're just waiting so far back.
I think this is the thing though, when you play against MOUZ, they tend to not do anything. This is just a Mexican standoff basically.
Spike drop.
I think I need to brush up on my history to get that reference as a Canadian, but I'm surprised you might know it as a Scottish.
Maybe. I don't know.
Someone
gonna be
will
honest.
inform us.
Yeah, exactly.
B walk up the Astral Wall with the peek before it.
Oh, that's
Oh
tough.
no! Okay.
Yeah, the trap's not working in their favour. This is not pretty to watch. Because you've lost all your ultimates off the back of it. And only the Cosmic Divide working out. Stark's TP'd A just to make sure that nothing has gone afoot, but he is there early.
Yeah, the way that this Cosmic Divide works is that there's options to use it as a fake to go A or C with it, and we've seen Mikey already lurk up A once and C
10
once.
seconds left.
8 seconds left, they gotta go. It's a 4-on-2.
Right now,
Can easily
chances
go in.
are this is going to finish out and being an 8-4 half. The odds on that, it would be a great clutch. Again, it's Mikey who's here to do it, and that's the player that you want in this situation. Kamek close by him, key utility to set Mikey up. They're being sent forward so frivolously, used away, perhaps wasted, but Mikey now has to rely on Kamek to do what he could not and clutch up. The aftershock being used to bait away, but the players, they're looking towards long. A peek out and Laluri will get it. It is going to be 8-4, a gap of 4 rounds between these two teams. Job Life, they've done well with the momentum that they had, but perhaps you could probably think that they should have done better. Capitalised more, especially with the way that they were able to space their ultimates towards the back end of the half. But now, as we move into the second half, it's MOUZ's turn to attack, and we know they're good at it, but we'll see that after a quick break. Well, we're back for the last half ever on the Alpha stream for this week, for the group stage. If MOUZ win, it is going to be the ultimates that go through from MENA, but if Job Life win, well, they have their fate in their own hands to come in. Still, this is the last half. Do MOUZ have what it takes to win on the attack?
I think we've seen enough from both these teams to know that it could go either direction. JL's been in really good control of the game so far. Magic in a lot of these openings, Mikey on a lot of the closings, and Robbie, I mean, the captain's put up some big rounds himself. But MOUZ on the attack side now, and they've been good on pistol rounds too. Let's see how well Mikey can deal when he's got to hold the site instead of play the retake.
Don't think you'll even have to. MOUZ already looking to go back. The slow play style that they like to play is certainly coming into fruition on the pistol.
And they've got the orb picked up. Actually, I don't even think the orb was recovered there from that C site. A retake setup on that A, the turret to spot the site, the alarm bot to make sure no one pushes all the way through. And MOUZ doing a really good job of making JL sweat. Already 1 star gone from Mikey. It was used as a defensive smoke on that C site. You can see the double lure coming long C and garage. It might be just doing a little bit of noise here to fake A to keep JL positioned here as they run and hightail that spike all the way back to that C site that is completely open. Stark and Fizzy, they've got their camera, they got their smokes, they got everything they need. Now with all this space as well, 30 seconds left, they're going to call the team back. Right now, biting to this JL is taking a gamble sack, a gamble read, and we've seen both teams do these gambles, and it's been paying off. This time, it's not.
It's so tough as well because Mikey has been chipped up. Magic, though, up against Alluri. He's been caught, and it's going to be an easy pickup. Control of the site, which is no longer needed, will be gone. That utility down. But the key point is the extra body to come back into the site. As they do try and get in, though, there's not much capitalisation in terms of the utility. They've got the space, but no kills, and that's the key important part. Robbie, though, will get rid of Alluri, but doesn't realise there's another player close by, or does he, as he goes to double dip for a second. Smokes are up, which will stop any line of sight of the bomb as a tap comes through, and the gunfights or pistol fights ensue. Now, Zosh trying to stop players get off the spike, but nobody's close. Yas just holds 4. Just diffuses it. MOUZ don't get a chance, and Yaz will clean it up, getting those extra orbs towards his ultimate.
I love the way that Job Life did that. The way that Yaz diffused there, he's only 4 and 12 right now. He's like, you know what? Let me get on it. You guys take the fights. Now, I've seen you guys shooting this game. The way that he does it, though, is he finds the most outer point of that circle that the spike is showing. He is able to defuse from that range, but then he also turns his body around, makes it as hard as possible for them to track him through the smoke. And the defuse comes in, building that lead, getting them the advantage in the second half, but also builds on that lead. Now it's at 5 rounds.
Oh, they're going towards B. Kamek's just wanting to hold on to the backside. He should be easily picked up, he is, but Magic close by. This is somewhat decent though, because MOUZ have got 2 players back, or 2 guns back in their favour, and Mikey's running for the hills. He wants nothing to do with it. Fizzy close up on the Spectre, can't quite get what he was looking for. And yeah, as it says, Team Ace on the board, everyone gets their own ultimate orb. But in terms of the weapons that got through to the next round, there's a lot lost there.
There is a lot lost, but with this lead that they have, the way that they're playing as well individually, I don't think they're going to be too upset with that. If they pick up the right weaponry here, sheriffs, marshals, make anything work on this defense side. Looks like sheriffs and ghost and an outlaw. That outlaw though is facing up against 5 heavy shield.
Oh.
Big reveal, and it's going to get info. You can see the reaction automatically at C. Magic and Mikey taking that space all the way through. And MOUZ being revealed like that might make them want to go all the way back, leave that A, try to go to a different direction. They might actually go into this trap here. But Job Life, they don't want to break this trap. They don't want to give up the fact that they know what's going on here. And you can see this weird stack going on at the A side as well, just mind games. Finally, they break the trip just to add that extra little layer of pressure onto MOUZ, try to force him into this A stack.
Fizzy is the one who's going to be point of contact for it. Well, Stark's being point of contact towards A, but MOUZ taking her time. And I think they're looking to destroy the turret. Try and create the question mark spaces that you probably want. Can't quite get the tag they were looking for, though.
The walkabout, the info gathering. For
Stark
Robbie,
losing
he's
it.
alone.
Yeah, that's your mid-rounding gone. Like, any info darts to come back up to get into sight. It's going to be a tough loss.
30 seconds left.
The only way that plays out, as well as they need it to, is if the follow-up was already there.
It's nice. MOUZ are just isolating the fights that we're looking for. Zus maybe a little bit too eager, but Magic needs to be ready and available. He hasn't. And yeah, it's all been 1v1s in the end for MOUZ to win that round here still.
There's only one real chance that JL had to make MOUZ fall into the trap, and that's if Stark wasn't alone at that long A line. If there were more people there, they get the kill. They think that Sova he's pushed, he's alone, A site's free. They start following it up, and they're not expecting 2 more players there. But Illuri, he's not going to be fooled by this. He stuns into that short cubby area, catches Yaz there, and 5 to 10 is now the scoreline. Still a 5-round gap, but it's closing. The attack side showing why it's so hard to play against.
That's it. Start to put the job life on bad eco, the momentum rolling. That's what essentially MOUZ would be looking for. As for now, a big contest on towards A lobby. And when you look towards what Kamix used, 1 flash, an aftershock, stun as well. That's a pretty expensive contest.
It's expensive, but 1 minute and 5 seconds remain. And no real map control just yet. Turret and alarm bot still up. A breach. Stun almost off cooldown for the defense. Can make a play. They don't see Magic here. Did they? The last moment? They do. They're spamming at him. They want the kill. Magic, 5 HP.
How has he done this? Like Neo on this. Oh, on the start.
No way!
Zus has baited his 2 teammates and the spike's down. He didn't peek out, waiting for someone to peek from the lane from C.
Right there.
This is tough. They've left themselves at a player disadvantage here. Time's so low as well here still. Like at some point they've got to commit the spike to one of the sites. Fizzy being close to C, you'd imagine that'd be the plays, and Kamix not looking in the right spot. Somehow MOUZ fight their way out of it, and Job Life left with Robbie BK to clutch up once again.
Robbie BK needs a Robbie 2K right now. The dart, maybe the only saving grace to be able to push through that smoke. Otherwise, he waits out the time, the duration, and hopes there's another one, not refreshing it. They might think he's gone long C. They might think he's gone garage.
He's trying to play on their minds anyway. The harsh thing about this is Stark smoke will be up soon. He peeks out, yep, as you say, yikers. Fizzy catches him. MOUZ get the round when they probably shouldn't have.
That was looking real good for Job Life there. Yes, they used a lot of investment early on, but as that time dwindles down and they have to go and clear garage that late into the round, and Magic's able to get 2 in that situation, you're thinking for sure this is going to be a round conversion. But one going down at that A lane, one going down at that spawn, another one going down C. One by one, all the chips fall, and MOUZ bring it one step closer. Pistols only the side of JL on their defense here, as Smoke too long to deny them info, and MOUZ very patient, waiting to see if there's any sort of trap set up for them. Job Life can't be happy with how that last round played out.
I imagine Lohan will maybe be sitting on the button to press for a timeout. I'm thinking about that later. As for now, look towards Kamek. He's got his stun out. There's ultimates to be used. Yaz has the overdrive. I'm wondering, could this perhaps be a trap play, considering you've got like 3 to 4 players towards the mid space?
They need the appropriate trigger for it, but I fear that the stun's going to hit Yaz, the corner of B site, even if it's the spot for Magic comes out on that B. Stun primarily set up for that A lobby line, just to create a little bit more pressure, but backing up Robbie B, hey, he's just like, yeah, getting out of the site. They don't know where to go at this point, but the garage hit comes.
Oh no, Mikey had the chance, and okay, Job Life fancy this. I mean, with the time being so low, they're obviously trying to buy time and make MOUZ panic.
They're not planting right away.
Oh,
there's only going to be 20 seconds left.
And this is going to be carnage.
He is under Fury.
Wait,
not like this.
It's going to come in. And now the overdrive. Yes,
oh, no.
Did he disconnect?
Yes.
This is turning into a disaster. Time being so low, trying to use the shock darts to deny, trying to buy some time. They're committing to the spike. Is there enough time? There is, but it also allows for Zeus to get the ace. Wow. That was carnage, and somehow MOUZ come out on top.
Wow, MOUZ not going for that spike plant right away and resetting to long C almost cost them. They're saved by the fact that Job Life chose to play at home, and Yaz has been having issues. I don't know what to say. It could have been his mouse, it could have been anything, but right there you saw how he ran out of the back of the site, tried to take that space with his overdrive popped, but runs straight into that tall box and just sits there. That has to be devastating. The aftershock narrowly misses as well. They're not even happy or excited about that one. Like, oh, but man, that was way too close. Like, that almost wasn't even a win. They needed the stars to align for that one.
I'm not gonna lie, I really liked the round from Job Life and the plan that they came up with. I feel so bad for them that Yaz is like had some issues there, whether it's a DC or whether it's anything else. That's a really tough. In fact, actually, we've got confirmation from admins. There has been internet issues on the Job Life side, and it is going to be a restart of the router before we can get back into things. So you can't help but feel still that was the issue for Yaz.
Yeah, it had to have been. I can understand. It's happened to me in matches before. It's unlucky. There's nothing you could do about it. And when it happens in pivotal, crucial moments like that one, where it could still go either way, and you're in a really prime position to be able to actually convert a round, a must-needed round, it sucks, but it happens in these situations. When you have the play online, you're at the mercy of whatever might be going on at home. And there's one memory of mine that it still haunts me to this day about, having a bind A post plant, and I'm sitting there as I think I was Viper, and I'm just lagged out, and I have mollies ready and an orb on the spike and everything. It's just soul crushing when it happens in such a crucial round like that. Job Life, that was not the biggest investment from them. It's not the worst round to lose, but it was a very winnable round, and winning that round would have put them on 11 rounds. It would have kept that round lead still with a 5-round deficit, and this is the tournament life on the line here. You need to win the series if you want to be able to go through to the next stage, and right now MOUZ acting as the gatekeepers, and apparently Divine Intervention as well is also helping as the gatekeepers.
Yeah, That's the key point. As for news elsewhere, Apex have won their series 2-1, which I do believe still pushes them to top spot in the other group. I'll need to. I think that's the confirmation that we got earlier. So with that being said, it's starting to really set into motion the definition of the groups.
It all comes down to these next few rounds to decide the last remaining team that's not locked in. 99% sure about that one. I'll leave that 1% doubt just in case someone's messed up somewhere, including myself.
Yeah. Confirmation actually coming through as well. Yeah, Apex are first, which means the winner of this match, whether that be Joblife or MOUZ, who are playing in the for the Ultimates, will be playing against Apex. CGN up against Pacific next week. It's another one to keep your eyes on. There he is, the boys just sitting waiting the TU watch party.
Are they laughing at themselves being on the screen there? Or what are they laughing at in the situation here?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They're watching the stream. They're behind by like 3 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe they're watching that round back.
Yeah, they're a few minutes behind. So they're I think they are just reacting to that last round that just happened, because obviously, like when you have this online play, you have to set up all these delays. Otherwise, things can happen. So they're on a delay. All of you guys watching, I've set this 3 minutes into the future, basically, or I guess 3 minutes into the past. Or I don't even know how long it is. I think it might even be a longer delay than that.
Yeah, something like that. I couldn't tell you. I mean, time traveling's not my best talent, I'll be honest. With that being said,
it's long enough so that you can't watch the. I think it's supposed to be around 2 minutes.
I think it's enough. I think for 2 rounds or like
two
for
rounds,
at least 2 rounds, so that like you can't get a good read on what the other team is trying to do, etc. Which is fair enough. Observers loving these close-ups. I think it's Jack that's doing it. By the way, Steel, do you know something?
There you go, confirmation.
Yeah, there's confirmation. Steel, I've got something for you. Do you know that Jack, our lovely observer, if you're watching at home, he actually gives out Riot Gun Buddies? So,
yeah, I heard that too, actually.
Yeah, if you're making sure if you wanna go and message Jack, and get your own Riot Gun Buddies, get plenty to give out because it's Ascension.
This is do you get a choice of which gun buddy you want, or does it have to be a specific one only?
I think
he's shaking his head. I think he's telling it that you don't get your a specific one, that you have an option for them. Actually, that's what that shake of the camera means.
Perhaps, yeah. Some people would maybe want maybe it's not the Riot Gun Buddy they want. Maybe they'd want like the little bunny one that you can't get anymore. Oh no, it's the little cow, isn't it? The little cow you can't get anymore when you shoot.
Ooh, does the cow go moo as well, or?
I don't know about that. I just know that like when you shoot it like lights up, you know.
Oh, okay. So definitely hit him up then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's a question, Steel. What's your favourite combination of skins then?
It's a touchy subject. I think. I don't know. I like the RGX bundle still.
Yeah.
I really do. That was a cool one.
I'm on the I'm on the Forsaken right now. The Forsaken Vandal.
Forsaken's good. There's a bunch of good ones. I always have to go back and switch. I'll be on one for a little bit, and then I'll have like a game where just things aren't lining up, and then you just switch off to something else, and you're like, oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
One of those things. It's like I wish I was better with the Blast X, like the Phantom and the Odin, but it's just like every time I go to it, it just feels like it doesn't work at all, and you're like, I really wish it would, but then you just have to switch off.
Yeah, I've actually been pretty decent with the Odin. I started listening to watching Mitch play Valorant. He likes it. I've been in the school of Mitch for quite a bit now, so I'm starting to get better with the Odin. But not enough of our nonsense, and let's actually talk about the game, right? Because we're about to head back in. Yaz is back. We've got oh, right, okay, never mind.
Never mind.
Well, never mind. But we'll talk about the game anyway. Yaz is nearly back. Now coming into this state after losing that last round and committing so many ultimates to winning that, and having the unfortunate issue of which we had. Does that mean that with coming into these last few rounds that Job Life won't have as many tools as they were hoping for? Do they have much chance to get this over the line?
They definitely don't have as many tools. I don't think that's an issue, really. They still have that round lead. Their economy is still good right now. They're going to have a gun round when we go back into the game, so it's not the end of the world. They've also had a lot of these gamble stacks, and some of the reads worked out really well for them, and other times it hasn't worked out so well for them, but they've had a pretty decent job of running their protocols on their retakes. And then the other side of the coin is that MOUZ looks a little bit indecisive at moments, and there's been a couple of really close, scary rounds that they narrowly got through. The last round that we just saw was one of them. So still, it could go either direction at this point. Yes, there's a few round lead for Job Life, and they just use a lot of their ultimates, so there's that against them. And then there's also the fact that this map is, generally speaking, a little bit on the attack side. There's a lot of ground that you need to cover as defense. You have to take a lot of gamble reads by, if you're trying to defend one of the sites, you have to have enough bodies to defend it. And if you do that, you leave the other sites exposed. So there's always that risk that you choose the wrong site.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's, a lot on the line. We are going back into game, guys. I can confirm that we are just moments away. But with that being said, coming back into Haven, a lot on the line with the pressure and coming into what could be your last couple of rounds of your full year. I mean, that is confirmed for MOUZ, not quite confirmed for the Ultimates, who, if MOUZ win, will go through Job Life playing for their own tournament lives.
Fast back into it. Info denial with that Omen smoke. Wait out the defensive dart, and they just walk into here. But right now, a full, basically, retake A setup. I think Robbie BK probably going to hold on to his dart, and as soon as some sort of pressure comes to that A site, he's going to try to get that dart, try to get a spam kill off the back of it, and try to make it a little bit softened up for the retake.
Right here.
Still, no pressure across the map. Very slow, patient play from MOUZ. They don't want to misstep, but we see sometimes how they play a little bit too slow. And as a result of that, they lose their timing and space and everything.
Get out of my way!
Trying not to use as much utility. Robbie has
There it
set
is.
up Magic. That's huge. And the players get into the site. Still, there's plenty of utility to come in, and well, the spike goes down late. You can see Mikey's just investigating mid, seeing that there's no lurkers towards there. That's why they're taking their time. Stark is actually TP'd back to bait out towards spawn. And it's just delaying Job Life more and more. In they come, using the fast lane as a way to escape in and cut off those lines of sight. But as you said, Alluri holding onto the Rolling Thunder, and the tap is the goal. But still there's a player towards Heaven that hasn't been caught. MOUZ trying to re-clear back in. Time still of the essence for Job Life to get this over the line. MOUZ seem to have played this perfectly. Kamak has to come up with something brilliant but cannot, and MOUZ get the next round.
Very big round for MOUZ to win there, and understanding how to play that post plant perfectly. As soon as they get that Rolling Thunder online, they back out, they wait for the retake to come in from JL. They have to clear out all the positions on the site. They use their abilities to get that information, get that space, and as a result of that, MOUZ, they pop that Rolling Thunder, they get back in there, and it's just easy for them to pick them off using that Astra smoke as cover to get in and make it all work. MOUZ gonna take that round, even though Robbie, that dart scan, getting that kill Magic, taking down Zus, who's been a huge impact player for MOUZ this entire series, especially when he's had that operator, but also in some of these post-plant situations, he's been locking them out. And here, Job Life, well, that's 4 rounds in a row that they've lost the side of MOUZ and their economy not in the greatest position. So they call it a little tack timeout, talk about what they need to do here. They have that rolling thunder, but their economy's not there to match it, but they still have a round lead. So potentially doing a very light investment here, maybe some sheriffs or other weaponry that they can afford to do a full purchase next round and use that rolling thunder into the next round, unless they're able to pick up a couple of crucial kills here.
Cosmic Divide closely soon to be activated. That rolling thunder, as you've talked about, also a big component to this round. And Lohan, after his introduction, what has he said for Job Life to change things up? For the most part, they have been quite passive, Job Life, allowing MOUZ to move across the map, but creating pressure on A, forcing MOUZ to actually go and re-clear it and interact with the space that they've just been in.
The drone makes Robbie a little bit nervous here, but maybe a re-clear through middle. We've seen it once from Job Life. They choose not to do it here. The Reaper is going to come into short. The cover from Yaz for long, but still a 5 versus 2. It all comes down to Yaz hitting these Guardian shots.
He's missed the first, didn't quite connect. Robbie certainly has, and Yaz repositions to backside. The crossfire disconnected by the smoke, and that was actually Job Life smoke. They're committing to this retake, and remember, you've got to look at the time here. That's a big chess piece used from the board, and given up. I need to trade it with some value, and the value hasn't come in. They've just cleared the site, forced MOUZ back. What does the committal, the execute come in?
That was a poor investment of that ultimate. It didn't really get them anything, and now a really simple fake on that C site is going to pull them all away, and the rotation's being heard and confirmed by Fizzy. It's a 3-on-1 on the site, and Kamik, can you do this?
Oh, the shots not quite hitting as well as they should. And on top of that, with this spike coming down, Obnox coming in and playing late, he's got his ultimate to work with. It's all about how quickly Job Life can get onto the site and get value, get something in real, in concrete, in terms of the player count. Starts just holding left click and Alluri combined. We are within 1 between these two teams.
That was a great audible call by MOUZ to be able to do that fake towards C. Just the Omen smoke on the garage cross, the Sova to make noise by himself, and Job Life, they fully bite on that. They move all of them together. Not only do they use that rolling thunder to stabilize on a site that they don't even really need it on, but then they over-rotate. When you have a round play out on a map like Haven like this, it's almost better to just completely push through the position together or hold that gamble and wait for that full commit than to rotate off through spawn, making so much noise through that link, getting confirmed information by Fizzy, and then losing that site. It's like if the enemy goes C, if MOUZ went C and went to go plant, you're in a retake anyways. So why move? And these are the fundamentals that a lot of the top VCT teams do and implement really well, and that is something that separates the level of the teams. And if Job Life want to be able to continue their run here and continue into that next stage and ascend, this is one of the things that they need to be able to do better.
That's the one thing, right? This is the group stage, so moving into next week, there's a week of prac, VOD review, etc. that teams can go and develop, which I think Job Life have been a real victim to that here, Steel.
I agree. And right now, there's another pause at the moment. Shouldn't be too long, but the thing with these types of pauses is that you're not able to talk to the rest of the team about stuff.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and kind of sit there, simmer, just stew in what just happened, what just transpired the last 5 rounds in a row. Sit there. Maybe you can make a plan in your head. You can't communicate that right away. So kind of whatever they're starting with at the start of the round here with the Sentinel utility and everything, they're pretty much going to be stuck with that all around. So only minor adjustments can be made at this point with only 13 seconds left on the clock before it actually goes live.
And the other thing apart with these tech pauses is that it breaks up the momentum, which is so key to MOUZ, who are on the attack right now.
Right here.
Not that it'll necessarily not hurt Job Life, but it possibly could be. Yaz being caught there in start. Perhaps going to be having to use a TP. Oh my god, what? It's the shorty that stops it. This could be a very frustrating evening for Job Life in the region of France. That Paranoia plays to perfection off the back of the Neuro Theft. Mikey now in a 1 versus 4. Fizzy's ran away, and Mikey now and has to clutch up.
Spike planted.
1v3, maybe I give it to him. 1v4, that's a tall order. He's thinking about the same thing. He's thinking about saving this weapon for another day. Go again. The rest of his team, you can see the economy on the side of the screen. 100 in credits on a couple of the players. That means no purchase is going to come in. It's going to be tied up 10-10, and MOUZ in the first position this map to be able to take the lead.
Two ships
slipping
in
by each other. Yep.
Completely missed each other. The only thing about Mikey here is that when he does go to C-Long, there is a trap waiting for him. Yeah, we're all leaving, and that's the worst thing. That's not what Job Life wanted. They've got one more timeout in their pockets to use to try and bring themselves back into this game, because right now, 6 rounds in a row, things haven't been going their way. There's been tech pauses and all sorts. It needs to start here still. Sure enough, they're on the eco, but they need to give us something to hope for. And I think the Ultimates is a key way to do that.
This has to be something. Yeah, I mean, right now they need to figure out what to talk about here, because as you said, it's going to be an eco round here. So talking about this round's play could be a thing. Talking about how you want to play out the rest of the half is probably in what the coaches want to do, because this is the last chance for them to actually be able to speak and talk about what is required of these guys to be able to pull this out. Remember, MOUZ is acting as the gatekeepers here. It doesn't really mean much for them, but for the side of JL, it means everything. It's been the whole year. So to go out with a whimper like this is something that it's just not going to cut it. 6 rounds in a row, they've lost. They're down to an eco round here. They're a couple of orbs away from their Hunter's Fury, and they just need to discuss what they want to do. We haven't seen them really explore the map down middle yet in a while. They did a reclear once, but they've been faked out, and their retakes have not been working. Those are the 2 things they need to focus on.
I think as well, like, they got real value out of exploring C-Long and allowing themselves to gamble so heavily on the A side. As you said, mid hasn't been explored in a while, and this is what they go for this time. A lovely shot from Kami and a great shot from Jazz. Okay, we've got a game on our hands with a thrifty round. Mikey holds on to Garage, the only one with a real rifle, saved from last. And Job Life, they've got a key to success. They can't fumble it this time, drop it on the floor. A gamble on the C side of the map will allow for MOUZ to go poke and prod towards B. And Magic holds on to that passively and gets the shot. It's the Sheriff's doing the work. It's not even Mikey's rifle.
It's a 2 versus 4 against the eco. Imbued, these Sheriffs. You know, it's the Ultimates that's on the line here. And they're the ones that are commonly, you know, having the Sheriffs that everyone talks about. And now it's working against MOUZ. They're saving grace. But Job Life, again, around the world, trying to figure out exactly where it is that MOUZ is going. And again, since they're all together as a 4-man pack, they're about to choose the wrong site here. That Killjoy Magic going down, the turret, the alarm bot are offline, and Yaz standing still again. You can't help but think he is timed out or something is not going right for him. A 3 versus 2 on the retake. A 3-man flank, though. They're together at the very least. That gives them the best chance.
The thing about that
it's information.
Yeah, exactly. It's key information. They know that Stark is out on long, but as for the site, they don't know anything about. The paranoia comes through, and oh no, the Rolling Thunder delays even longer. Job Life playing for their tournament lives, and the Cosmic Divide creates an octagon, a ring in which both teams need to fight in. 3 on Job Life and 2 on MOUZ. Only one left. It's Stark with a shorty. Time low, playing for TU to have a chance to send them to playoffs. MOUZ will get the round when they shouldn't have.
Job Life have to be kicking themselves. Again, another issue from Yaz, sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard, not having a chance to play the game metaphorically and sometimes literally. He gets one of the big opening crucial rounds in the kills in the round. But a misplay from Job Life. They see Stark push all the way through. He gets that kill from Long C. They assume that it's planted for Long C. They assume it's planted for him. They pop that Cosmic Divide to lock him out. But as you said, it's an octagon. It's forcing them into this fight, into the back of sight.
Yeah.
Pulling them apart.
This is becoming a really tough situation for Job Life to bounce back from. Because, well, yes, they're in a 3v2 and they should have everything that they need to get that round over the line. There is always that second player of Yaz that keeps timing out for whatever reasons. I guess we come back to the ultimate conversation again here, still, because we're one off of the lockdown, one off of the Hunter's Fury, and that's the key points, because Omnox, yeah, he has the counter to his Hunter's Fury, but after that, it's all Job Life when it comes to the ultimate cycle.
It is, you're right, but I mean, they have to get to that point of the round of the map first, and maybe they're able to take it to OT off the back of that. But you have to keep in mind, if they do a full investment here, what would they have left if they can't win it? They need to be able to convert with a kill, maybe Magic or Robbie picking up a kill early on and being able to convert that into using the ultimates on this round. But if they're unable to capitalize on that, if they're not able to turn things around, they've just lost 7 in a row, and we're talking about ultimates right now. It's the other ultimates that are going to be happy about this.
Yeah, it gets, the situation looks bleaker and bleaker, but better and better for the ultimates, who sat at home and almost missed out on their chance to go from the playoffs themselves, right? Within 2 rounds against Job Life, went to overtime twice on 2 maps where they were at an advantage. But while we wait for the issue to be resolved, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hello everybody, welcome back to what is MOUZ versus Job Life. We are awaiting for some technical issues to get over the line and sorted on the Job Life side of things. But as for now, we still await for that to be resolved. So you've got me and Steel to keep you company. Steel, so far, how have you been enjoying Ascension, mate? I think we've had some really good games so far.
You know, it's not often where people say that I'm great company, but, you know, it's some of these matches are very interesting. We see a lot of high-level play. We see different compositions and, I guess, ways to approach the game and the maps, and we see traditionally in some of the VCT circuits. So some of these are cool, and this is obviously where you're going to find a lot of other players that are less proven, that haven't had the chance to, you know, make it to the big stage, so to speak. And this is where a lot of the tier 1 talent's going to be looking to see who's next up, who's going to be that next thing. And, you know, the Team Heretics, there's a few members that are doing a watch party right now that, you know, they are a team that has a bunch of young players that kind of went under the radar, and look at how they ended up this year. So it's one of those things where this is where you find a lot of these players, and these are good stakes and pressure situations to be tested in, because if you can thrive and excel and make it through these testing periods, you're probably okay for, you know, beyond.
exactly. I feel as if like we as an esport are slowly coming into our own golden age of young kids coming through. You could probably pick out many examples. Sayonara, who isn't even playing in the tournament as well, who has been playing in play-ins. Many of the play-ins talent that we've missed out on. But as for now in Ascension, there's so many highlights for me. Like obviously everyone straight away goes to Pacific, right? You've got Kayak who's out on Apex, so many more. The Barcelona team that have lost out there. Is there anybody that you've particularly got your eye on coming out of the games that we've had so far?
I haven't had the pleasure of casting one of the Pacific games, but they've looked pretty strong. Apex, they look like they have pretty high highs and low lows, and obviously you mentioned Kayak, so that is a player that I look at, and we see it's hard to tell because when you put a player in a different environment, they might be able to be unlocked to a different degree. It could be a matter of playstyle. It could be about meshing in terms of chemistry with the other players. It could be about role clashes where you might be forced onto a different agent on certain maps that you might not vibe with as good as another one. And you might have to make these types of concessions as players. The thing with where we are right now, though, is everyone's able to aim really well. And that comes out, that's seen easily.
Well, as for now, we're straight back in. Yaz is here and ready to play. And so are Job Life. They've actually they went and played for C, which we were talking about just before the break, broke the trip and forced MOUZ to interact with this space, which you can see that's why the Breach of Alluri is heading over there.
Just a mid-walk here. It's been good for them before.
Oh,
but it's not good for them now.
Oh, lordy lords. After having such a horrendous set of circumstances set before them, Fizzy goes and makes it even worse. It needs to be a clutch, a 2 versus 5, and Robbie BK gets the next kill cleanly, bringing it to a 2v4. And if there's anything that I've known about Valorant, 2v4s are certainly winnable.
Is it going to be here, though? They're already probably getting things in their head mentally.
Last player standing.
And also physically, they got a couple of bullets lined up as well. That's going to be match series point for MOUZ, Job Life. They have one chance left. They did a full buy on that last round. And this is it. It comes down to this, the potentially last round here.
It does. Fizzy has done so well there. A man known for swiping away tournament lives. Did it to focus everyone who thought they would be the team to come out of DAC. And well, it's them. To destroy the hopes and dreams of France, who are looking to repeat back-to-back Ascension wins. It won't happen this time. They won't even get out of groups. Aggressive, down mid, and forcing MOUZ to run. Scarpa gets something, Stark's got information on Yaz, and Fizzy not known about in the smoke. Mikey misses out, and not only that, the neural theft activated. They know exactly where everybody is, and oh my god, the Hunter's Fury, can he get at least a kill from it? No, but plenty of tags.
Oh, this is gonna haunt Job Life. This is gonna be one of those moments that they just remember. And that flick that Mikey got as well that happened on him. Oh, it's gonna be nightmare fuel.
It is. There's an overdrive to come through and also the lockdown. If there was a time to be a hero for Job Life, it would be now. Yaz, the young gun, supported by Might Magic. It will not happen. MENA will have their chance in playoffs to go up against the best of the best in Tier 2. Job Life falls short against MOUZ.
There was a battle hard fought. They went the distance. They came all the way down to the end. They were in the lead, but just a concoction of unfortunate events. It is sending the Ultimates through. Job Life, they lose out on their opportunity here. And that's got to be soul crushing. Just the last few moments, the last 6, 7, 8 rounds are just going to be burned into the frontal cortex, is the everything. Like, you go to sleep, you're gonna close your eyes, and you just see that replaying in the darkness.
And the fact that, like, as well, they had the option, Job Life, to play from boot camp, to extend that further, but instead chose to play from the comfort of their own home. That is probably the most heartbreaking way to end your tournament lives, end your competitive year. Obviously, next year the format's changing. There'll be more inter-regional tournaments. There'll be more chances to play against one another. It won't be as cutthroat as it currently is, but for Job Life, they had the chances to win it, even though there was disconnects. They can't be too heartbroken about that still.
Yeah, I mean, you send your whole year to set you up for that, and you're in the right spot at the right time. You're on the cusp. It is going to be soul crushing. There's nothing you can say about it that's going to be different than that. It really is. The fact of the matter is that they can't only be happy with where they've come from and where they ended up at. It's just, for most of these teams, it's just not good enough if they don't go all the way. That's what all of these teams are here to do, especially once they get to this stage of Ascension. They're the representatives. They're the ones that made it all the way. And for them to fall short here, there are moments that you can reflect on and see growth and see that you had a good time and made friends along the way and made things happen and showed that you're capable of it. But to fall short this close, it's very sad for these players, and they're going to be feeling it for a while.
Yeah, for the most part, everybody will focus on Job Life and how heartbreaking it is for them. But I think at the same time, we have to be jubilant about the way the Ultimates have got here, how they've surprised everyone. Because at the same time, coming into this tournament, they didn't get the best set of circumstances either. Had to look for a new home, had to find a replacement for their star duelist, and got themselves into a position where they're actually qualifying into playoffs, actually going further than any MENA team has ever gone before still.
I mean, it's gonna be something that they have to hold their heads high about. And one of the funny things is about how they got here is they sat there watching this MOUZ game. They beat MOUZ. They lost to Job Life, but the MOUZ win over Job Life, this little three-way, love triangle going on, is what sends them through. And it must have been nerve-wracking for them having to sit there watching just their fate on the line by a different set of players. And they couldn't really interact with it. They had no hand in it. They had to sit there and wait and hope for the best. And I mean, the best came for them. They put themselves in as best a position they could have. They went 2 for 2 in the groups, and then they just had to let it happen. And well, I'm sure they're sending the DMs to MOUZ right now, like, good job, you guys played great, or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. But at least now we have our matchups for next week. I believe you will be on the desk for it. So I'm going to ask you before you get to there, what are you thinking of it? CGN versus Pacific, Apex up against MOUZ, up against the Ultimates. Have you got any favourites coming into that? Any sort of prior thoughts?
The only thing I could say is, just by seeing how things have been developing, Pacific look like they are really strong right now, and it would be an upset at this point if anyone is able to take them down. Everyone else showing that they can beat each other. CGN losing to Apex in one of those situations, Apex losing to Go Next. But I mean, right now the Ultimates is kind of the team that seems a little bit out of place in the whole context of everything. Not only are they, I feel like they've excelled and they feel maybe a little bit underqualified going into this, considering the types of teams that we're seeing there and the types of seasons they've had, and also just how they've been playing through the playoffs.
Yeah, something interesting about the Ultimates coming into this one as well. They've actually had the longest journey out of anyone, because not only did they have to play the regular season, they had to play 2 different playoffs because of the composition of MENA. Basically, you have a Middle East section, you have a North African section, who then go head to head in like a Super Bowl-esque playoff style. And the fact that we end up with that being the case and them coming through, I think that amount of Valorant will certainly mature you as a team and bring you closer together.
It definitely will, and obviously there's more to learn from losing than from winning, and maybe playing against some of these other teams, putting them to the test and putting them to their limits, showing them a different style of things is going to make them more well-rounded and help them going into the future. But you know, it's anything can happen at the stage, and the best teams are showing that they're going to be able to make it through.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we have an interview, and this is one that you'll be wanting to watch. I believe it is with one of the winners. I'm not too sure. It's Fizzy that's coming up. So, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Yeah, Fizzy from MOUZ is now joining me for a quick chat. First things first, of course, congratulations on the W. I understand there must be mixed emotions, of course, for the team, as on one hand, you've already are out of playoffs contention. On the other hand, though, you were able to, you know, finish it up with a bang. What was the mindset heading into this match today?
First of all, good night. Thank you for the congratulations. I mean, we just did what we had to do, you know. We couldn't prove ourselves during the whole Ascension. I figured at least we could go out with a bang. Everyone had the same mindset, like this was a qualification game, and yeah, I guess we just wanted to win more.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good doing so. Let's talk a little bit about the match at hand. What was your preparation like going into this against this particular team?
Preparation went pretty much the same as the others. Nothing changes. Yeah, it was all the same.
All the same, just another day in the office. We did see a new look from you, though. That close comp on Bind we've not really seen from you yet. Walk us through that thought process behind this one.
We thought that Brimstone and Omen didn't go so well together, and our other smoker our main smoker actually, likes to play a bit more aggressive. So we put him on the Clove, and we have we practiced a lot, and it went pretty well. So we were pretty happy to play this.
Right on. Now, of course, with the group stage all over, done and dusted. Looking back at the last 5 days of action, what's the experience been like for you and the team? What are your big takeaways?
I mean, it was amazing. It's always fun to prac other teams from other regions. Even though we didn't win, we still learned a lot. And whatever happens, I'm sure everybody was happy to play here.
Well, we're all very happy to see you in action as well. Final words for you, for your fans, perhaps, and anyone who has been supporting MOUZ and you personally.
I just want to say thank you to the org itself for providing us with endless resources for us to perform better. Thank you to the fans and to the Ultimates. I hope you guys enjoy your stone playoffs, and I hope to see you guys go far.
Yeah, you did it for the Ultimates. Fizzy, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck in what's to come next.
Thank you. Good night.
It was Fizzy from MOUZ as they just took the dub in what has got to be a heartbreaker. You can't put this any other way. I mean, the technical issues certainly very heavily contributed to the fact that MOUZ were able to just claw their way back into this one in the second half, stringing 7 rounds together and then some, with Yas just keep on disconnecting on his Neon. Like, that's brutal. That's a heartbreaker.
That's I think it's, let's be real, it's probably the worst way to end this. They had this match. They deserved it after that first half, and probably they would have been able to bring it back. But I don't blame them for actually having this get to their heads. Like, even in the end, if the issue has been fixed, you can only think about the rounds that you have already lost and all that advantage that you have that is also gone.
Yeah, I mean, the headband's come off. I'm feeling in a serious mood now. Do you know what I mean? It sort of brought it down a bit, but I completely get what you mean, right? And there was one particular moment, I think, which kind of like summarized all of that as we were going into that second half, which kind of changed things.
Well, let's chat about that particular moment. I do believe we do have tape on that, perhaps, maybe. Either way, you can. There we go.
Oh.
Have
No,
at it.
this is bind. I would be very, very shocked if this was the map that
So
we
it all
just
started
witnessed.
on bind.
But yeah, of course, with all of this going down, how the entirety of the best of three, how we went the distance, and we could see the performance from both of the teams. I think both of them should be happy. Job Life especially, they had everything that it took to bring it back. Unfortunately, that crushes their options of making it, but you know, good for the ultimates. Oh, this is? You go, Hazza.
Yeah, this round. So, as I was saying, MOUZ, they like to execute later into the round. Job Life know this. It's an eco. You want to play for a gamble. We've come into the last 30 seconds. Mikey, some really important missed shots, and it's the 3 ultimates which they throw at this to try and deny the situation. It's the lockdown with the Hunter's Fury. The free cam here is excellent, and then you're looking at this final couple of shock darts and the breach bomb to try and stop it. It came so close. Zus ended up getting an ace, but to me, this just felt like an absolute backbreaker. And there you see it. It's a pixel away from denying what would have been the round that I think keeps Job Life in it.
Completely. I think it's devastating because, as you're saying, Hazza, they understood perfectly what they could do with the ultimates, and not only the ultimates, every single piece of utility that they reserved until that point. Very mindful of what was going on and how to use it, and it's millimeters away from a complete different outcome.
Yeah, indeed. Job Life looked so decisive, so aggressive, really understanding the win conditions so well in the first half of the map, and then it all fell apart. And quite frankly, Hazza, you looked into the crystal ball. I mean, you didn't foresee the tech issues, but the first half went pretty much exactly like what you expected.
Yeah, man, I would, if I could, I would have told Jazz to maybe upgrade his internet, but unfortunately it didn't go that far. But in terms of the actual rounds that we saw played, right, I think you look at what MOUZ were actually able to win. You had 2 of those strong B holds, the stacks that I was talking about, maybe without the trap wires, but lots of players active in those positions. Zus had that 3K, which started with the Collat, and then you also had Alluri's 1 versus 2 clutch. Other than that, it didn't look like MOUZ could really get up and running. It was Job Life's post plants which looked really, really good. That decisiveness I was talking about. As soon as they got into the site, they had so much counter utility to be able to just bleed MOUZ away in those situations. Couple of times where they just ran out of time. The clock stopped, they couldn't do it. Spike goes off and they end up winning. So like the first half was the perfect setup. The second half, we've already spoken where it fell apart. To me, that's just the general timeline, but there was definitely a world where Job Life win that game.
And I don't mean to like take anything away from Saul. Like they were bringing it back, and probably in my head we were ending in overtime. And when we were in the green room, I told you like I think this is happening. This is the kind of scenario where we go to OT. If you start getting those very heavy executes, the way that they were using the ultimates to get onto side, it is a pain in the ass to retake those kind of rounds once you get that much space and pressure onto the site. But you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is indeed. Neither MOUZ nor Job Life made it through, but another team was watching the action unfold on the server, or the lack of action even. The Ultimates, they are now the team that qualified through in this group. Let's chat a little bit about their chances and their performance in the groups.
Oh my God, I recognize that wall.
Ta-da!
There you go.
I recognize that wall.
Hi guys.
Hello. Yeah, that's been a roller coaster for you and the team. We got to watch you watch the game and then also watch yourself reacting to the game. So there was a whole different kind of meta there. What's that been like for you, this emotional roller coaster?
I mean, it was tough, not gonna lie. The first time we qualify for this such a big event. We've been trying for 3 years. It's very unfortunate what happened to Job Lives, but we'll make the best of it. Very happy, and we'll make the best of it.
You already mentioned it there. It's been 3 years building towards this time. MENA have never even taken 2 wins, let alone qualify to the playoff stage. You've been there for that whole time. We've only seen a few player changes over the years. A couple from me. What does it firstly mean to represent MENA in this level of the tournament where we've never seen you before? And also, what did you learn along the way to sort of get to this position?
I mean, of course, it's such an honor to represent MENA. We've been trying for almost 3 years. We've encountered a lot of hurdles in the way. As we know, we scrim on high pings. We haven't had the chance to experience a high tier play. but the team helped us with the current roster continue this tournament. That's about it.
Okay, so now, you know, you've made it all the way here. All that hard work has gotten you to this position. It was, let's say, a little bit sloppy in groups, but that is over now, especially playing against the other regions. And, you know, from the first time that you saw your group being announced until now, what have you learned, not only about the other teams, but mostly about yourselves as a team that is going to help you during playoffs?
Of course, I know that we can do it. It's a first time for us, but I am confident in my team. We made it this far, and I don't doubt that we will put a good performance ahead. And the group we're in, we were not sure at the beginning. There's a lot of great teams in both groups, but let's see what the future holds.
Well, we'll certainly see very soon what the playoffs hold for you guys. Your core, we already mentioned, it has been together for a long time, you know, previously being Team Falcons and whatnot. So there's a lot of cohesion, a lot of familiarity. What do you feel is the biggest strength of your team?
I mean, we were playing for almost 3 to 4 years. I know every single one of the guys here. We have a good chemistry together. And I think it's one of the strong points that we have against other teams.
You've been playing all of the games so far in the group stage in Berlin. You're sharing the room there with one another. We saw you celebrating, sighing, and then that final release right at the end when obviously you qualify. Waiting, and we heard from Fighter as well, you guys were waiting to see your name light up on the stage as it's obviously all shut down at the moment as you're in the prac rooms. With the knowledge that it's only going to take one game for you to get to the stage at this point, what edge do you think you bring to the playoffs, having been in this environment already, where other teams will simply be, coming in and joining freshly for those last 2 matches?
We got used to the black teams. We had the chance to look at the stage. It's a very good environment here. And I think that will give us an edge against other teams. We will have, of course, now a few more days to practice. See what the stage is gonna be, and I think that's gonna help us in the long run.
So, your first matchup, right, coming on to playoffs is going to be against one of, if not the ultimate favorite, depending on where you're coming from, or depending if you've been seeing this group stage, is Apex. What do you make of them as a team, and most importantly, as an opponent?
I mean, every team who made it this far, is a very strong team. But I think that Apex, we played against Apex in the past on the same roster. I think it's going to be a hard match, but we will see. I'm confident with my team.
We'll see indeed. And now, before I let you go and celebrate with your team, as you guys, we've already seen you celebrate and popping off, but more of that, of course. This is your stage to address your fans. Is there anything you want to say on the behalf of your team to the people who have supported you on this journey?
The support was amazing in every way. Didn't feel that support in my life, and we'll make sure that we make MENA proud.
Well, Mo, thank you so much for joining us for a
Thank
quick chat. Congratulations once again, and of course, best of luck in the playoffs.
Especially with his individual performance, he should be feeling good, because my man was putting numbers up for the Ultimates.
That's the man right there. Magic Mo, he stood on business, TU in playoffs.
He's a chill guy. Wait until you see him in the server.
What a great opportunity for this team to not just represent themselves, of course, and put themselves on the radar for the other teams that are out there in case they're not making it to the big leagues, but also representing your region means a lot for these players, especially if you're coming from a very underrepresented region.
Yeah, definitely. I think you look at all the regions that we've got, and especially one in particular, Poland. We saw a lot of Polish players coming into this event, and right now there are only 2 left with Job Life eliminated. You're looking at Kayak and Mulsi with the 11 originally. The Go Next team, which we saw fall short earlier today, that could have still had a chance. 5 different rosters out of the 10 across the board. And when you compare that to like VCT EMEA, for example, where you've got a 22% majority Turkish players, same percentage of Polish players here in Ascension. I don't know, I kind of want to ask you guys as well. Do you feel like this has been a success for them so far, or not really?
For the Polish players, you mean?
Yeah, because in my opinion, I would probably say not as much as I was expecting.
I mean, I think that overall there is some big names coming out that I can think of. I think of Zeke, I think of Star. So like if I look back, I think of Patty G. Man, I miss Patty G. And there's a lot of talent out there. To me, it is a success that we still see a good amount of them going up. Even when you make the comparison with the Turkish, I don't think it's really fair. We have two Turkish teams, you know, like I still think it's a big win for them, and I also think that you would take any opportunity to bring Apex up, so I vouch for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, any more Polish players up for? I mean, they made up the majority of the player base in these groups, right? It was like the most Polish, more than any other.
Yeah, 11 out of
country.
50.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, the ratio that came through to the playoffs is not as big as one would hope, but that's still, that's more than we have in Switzerland. Where are the Swiss players at? You know what I'm saying? Let's actually take a look at our playoffs bracket because the pairings are set up. The Ultimates has the unfortunate pleasure of going up against Apex. You already said this might be an uphill battle for them. And of course, Pacific, which really impressed in their groups. Absolute flawless run. They will be facing off against CG and Kakuka. Starting with you, what are you making of these two matchups?
I mean, I think that, of course, Apex is a tough opponent if you think about the names, the overall year, and the expectations, of course. But I do not think that there is an easy opponent here, especially if you look on the other side. I feel like we're still going to be down for surprises. We're still going to have very long days, and that is what we want and what we need. I love the fact that we're also going to get a little bit of a tiny break. Of course, you know, teams have to get ready, and us, we need to get ready at the studio and everything to kick things off. But I like the fact that we have a bit of a pause after the groups, so they have a couple of days to just focus on the other one, focus on all the learnings that you have from this 5 days and how you can defeat such big opponents.
I'm really liking this top four because you have that contrast to last year where both DAC and Turkey were eliminated in groups, but this time there are the immediate lock-ins coming to the beginning of today, especially CGN through play-ins. That carries on the stat that whichever region has brought a team through play-ins has been represented in the playoff stage. And I think the extra month between that stage in the competition, champions in the middle, and now has given them extra time to prepare. And honestly, I find it difficult to call either of these games because you look at Apex again as being one that should be there for the deep run, but TU is the gift that keeps on giving, and I feel like I can't, you know, root for one over the other when I watch that match.
It's been such an exciting group stage, really coming down to the wire to the very last day, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Kakuka, Haza, it's been such a joy to have you on the mics through it all. So very
It's always my dream to share a desk with you.
Don't make me blush. Kakuka, before I let you guys go and say goodbye to everyone watching, I want your personal highlight of groups.
To me, it has been the individual prowess that we see from some of the players, especially the youngsters. I feel that we've said it a bunch of times how important it is to put yourself out there to have this big games once everybody is watching, especially thinking about the next year, thinking that there's only 4 out of the 10 teams that even make it to playoffs. You need to focus and give your all. We understand the year's been long. You've been battling in your own region, and to show up and have players like Mo, like Tag, like Kayak, like I don't know. I can think of a lot of players that have given us insane rounds, not only in the fragging department but in the awareness and everything. To me, that is the highlight. Knowing that they know what's at stake, they know what the prospects are, and they know that their eyes are on them for very good reasons.
And for me, I'm gonna just single out one player here on the TU side. That's the most exciting part, I think, MENA in playoffs, but it's not Mo. I'm going to go with Fighter. I think Fighter really deserves his flowers as a player who's standing in for someone where he was 10 places lower in ACS in such a competitive role where you were thinking that this was the promised version of the roster that we get. He steps into the shoes, and to be honest, I think he's over-delivered. I can only give him credit for the work that he's done. And, you know, you've already mentioned a few of the veterans there. The whole TU story is fantastic, but I think he deserves a massive pat on the back for how he's played.
couldn't agree more. So many highlights to look back on over the last couple of days. What a wild ride it's been. So thank you all so much for joining us for the past 5 days of action. And of course, make sure to tune in again on Saturday the 7th. That's in, what is that, 3 days from now? What is time anyway? For the playoffs. So the schedule will be announced as well as everything else you need to know over on X. So make sure to follow at ValLeague_EMEA. And we are now officially wrapped for the group stage. Thank you all so much, and we hope to see you again soon.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Didn't know how man stay fly, man, I just that guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. Didn't know how man stay boss, man, I pay that cost, long nights on the job. Didn't know, I'm a pro. Didn't know, I'm in the zone. Didn't know how man stay fly, man, I just that guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. Didn't know how man stay boss, man, I pay that cost, long nights on the job. Didn't know, I'm a pro. Didn't know, I'm in the zone. In my zone, yeah, I feel at home. Silence on my phone, focus on my goals. Whoa, doing my thing, got the blinders on. Filling my stack, yeah, high and long. Time is on, I am a bomb. Golden touch, got the mind is on. Man, I don't play, I'm on the way. Beast more King Kong coming today. Obstacles try to delay. Crush that, we don't just do okay. Hey, on a wave, from the cave, the main stage. I'm about to engage, raise the price of my wage. Didn't know how man stay fly, man, I just that guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. Didn't know how man stay boss, man, I pay that cost, long nights on the job. Didn't know, I'm a pro. Didn't know, I'm in the zone. Didn't know how man stay fly, man, I just that guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. Didn't know how man stay boss, man, I pay that cost, long nights on the job. Didn't know, I'm a pro. Didn't know, I'm in the zone. In my zone, yeah, I feel at home.